Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Jodi Dancers Talks. Today we have a returning figure, Kev, with us, who's from Lions Boxing Club and Black Country Blokes. How you doing, Kev?
I'm great. All the better for seeing you too.
And likewise, it's been a while.
Well,
um,
yeah, I mean, and it's funny how the world keeps on turning, doesn't it?
that's it. And I remember the last time we spoke, we started, especially going down the route with sport and boxing and mental health. And I just wanted to start with, especially the Olympics being so current in our mindset. I just wanted to talk about specifically linking to boxing. What sort of mental health state a boxer needs to be in before going into a competition?
But like with any sport, whether you're dancing, throwing darts, martial arts, sport is such an outlet for people. It helps with your well-being, your wellness, and as we all know, mental health, because it gets you around like-minded souls. And if you suffer with something like depression or anxiety, like I have, the great thing about living in the moment is you're not thinking about your woes and your problems. So it takes you away from the pain, from the suffering, and it's just the greatest way of escaping. Instead of looking at our telephones or our televisions, we're transported to being in that moment, aren't we?
Yeah, and I think what you're trying to say is really good in the sense of some people might think that they need to get into a better mental health space before they start sports, boxing, dancing, whatever. But sometimes maybe just taking that plunge and just starting an activity will actually get you in a better state quicker.
Well, after the madness of the lockdown, because everyone was talking about mental health and fitness, but no one was actually doing anything about it. So what I did, I opened up my club, the Lions ABC in Brolly Hill, and I do 3 daytime classes, 10:30 till 11, as mixed class, then a ladies only class, 11:30 till 12:30. I do a moms and toddlers group, and then I do a dad support group where dads can just come and have a chat about being a dad. Because us blokes will talk about football and boxing and women and drinking, but we don't talk about how the babies kept us up all night or how we've told them off and we feel so guilty. So it's getting like-minded souls together, talking but training. And the great thing about sport is you've got a Sikh lad there and a Muslim lad there and a Christian lad and a travel lad. And sport has no boundaries with faith or colour. And it's just a great equaliser of everyone just sweating together. And of course, helping each other's mental health because you go, I have them wobbles, or my wife left me, or my child was poorly. And it's a great way of genuine people cutting away all the nonsense and just being human beings together.
And we like that because obviously in your setting are probably similar now as well, where there's no judgment, there's no
Mm,
this sort of competitiveness. Oh well, I've had it worse, or you've had it worse. It's just like you said.
mm,
I'm going to speak from a dad and toddler's perspective, like just a couple of blokes having a chat and saying, "Look, I've had
mm.
it rough, or you've had it rough, and this happened," and it's just having those shared
Mm.
experiences makes you feel better.
Well, I
And
always say, like, when I had my daughter, my wife had an emergency cesarean because the baby was breech, coming out bum first.
likewise,
And and I thought I was going to hold my baby and cry, and I thought it was going to be like something in The Lion King, where they hold up Simba and the light comes down, and I didn't cry. And I loved my child, but I had to fall in love with her as time went on. I each day and each experience, you fall in love with your babies. And by me opening up and talking to other daddies, they went, blooming heck, Kev. I've been on that for 20 years and I just felt terrible. You went, but I'm not the only one. And that's what all mental health is and all problems are. They're worse when you believe you're the only one. By having that voice and that community where you can share experiences, you go, wow. Like with sport, they go, I'm nervous. Well, you
yeah,
should be bloody nervous. You should be. Whether my daughter did a show at the West End, she went, I'm frightened, Daddy. I went, darling, you are what you think. Just
yeah.
think about all the good times. Take a deep breath in and be excited, but you should be nervous. If you weren't nervous, that means you don't want it, you don't love it, you don't want to excel at it.
Yeah, no, it's true, and I think, like you said, when people get nervous or a bit frightened of an opportunity, like sometimes it's good, but obviously you've got to harness that in the best
Mm,
possible way. And like you said, having these support groups, and I really like how you've sort of had groups for different categories of like people, in the sense of where you're more likely to have shared experiences. I think that's also a very helpful platform. I really do. I think that's a really great initiative there with the four different classes that you have.
But what I've learned from like my podcast and having great guests like yourselves on there is everything happens to everyone.
Yeah.
Everything happens in every community.
Mm.
Everything happens, no matter how old, how young, what you look like, what you're praying, but abuse, suicide, loss, love, kindness, sadness, badness happens everywhere. And when you take away the nonsense, like the media and what people are trying to, and you go, we are one.
Yeah.
And we've got, if we've got something in common, then we've got everything in common. So we've always got something to talk about. And that, once you knock down those gates of intolerance and just go in, bam, this is Kev Dillon. And then the only way of defeating ignorance is by asking questions and then listening to the answer. So I will always be ignorant unless I'm allowed to ask questions. And then I've got to go, really? Thank you. I've learned something new.
And I think it's quite interesting you said that, because I just want to move on to the next point, which I think is a bigger point, and why we invited you onto this podcast specifically. Obviously, during the Olympics, we've had boxing and a couple of other sports where the media, social media especially, has been piling on to people where we don't know what the facts are. So I just want to take your perspective, especially with the boxers that you train and coach. What sort of impact does negative social media abuse have on them in the mental state?
I look at it because I'm a 40-year-old man now. And like sometimes I'll put all I do is positive videos. And sometimes people write really horrible things about me. But I'm lucky in a sense. I'm a 40-year-old man who's married. It's like water off a duck's back to me now.
Mm.
But if that was Kev Dillon at 20 or even at 30, it could have broke my heart.
Mm.
What life has given me is resilience because I know these words from people who don't matter can't affect me. But when you're young and you're striving to fit in, and when we're all young, all we want to do is fit in.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And when you get older, then you want to be extraordinary and you want to stand out. But most of us just we want to be loved. We don't want our peers to say nasty things. And I always remember we used to have opinions, but nowadays we've got the facts. And I'm thinking, especially with AI now, you can't even believe what you see or hear.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So unless you're actually there, but we get our things from Wikipedia, we get our things from Facebook, and we get our, well, it's facts because it's some other people's opinion that we know nothing about. So we need to be a little bit more tolerant, and we can point the finger and blame and hate and shame, and you're going, but you don't know these people,
Mm.
and how dare you say these horrible things about someone you don't know? How dare you say that about someone you do know?
Mm.
But these people reading these horrible things that nobody's have to say could be the thing that kills people. And as we know, suicide is the biggest killer of men under 45. A man dies every 2 hours of suicide. And that nasty bag of washings comment could be the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, no, and I think it's unfortunate as well because, like you use the word resilience there, it's like we have to build that resilience. Like I'm guessing you have to do the same for the people that come to your boxing, help them build that resilience because unfortunately, especially with what's happened like this year with the riots, etc., it does it doesn't seem like it's going to get much easier anytime soon. So,
Mm.
what like tips and tricks do you have or advice you have like to help build up that resilience?
The problem is, I'm a daddy myself, and we don't want our children to have scraped knees and hurt feelings. We don't, do we? But I've never met anyone interested who hasn't been through some trauma.
Mm.
And we don't want to put our babies through trauma. I'm not saying go out there and put your children in unnecessary things, but they're going to have to learn that most people are kind, but some people aren't.
Mm.
And learning when people do hurt their feelings, how to deal with it. And then what we need to do is give them love and kindness. The greatest gift we can give anyone is kindness. And emulating that, showing them with role models, because some people haven't got nice mommies and daddies.
Mm.
Some people haven't got nice grandparents, so they need the coaches and the teachers and the peers. Because we all want love, and if you can't find it through good love, you find it through bad love on the street, or those plonkers who are rioting and nasty people. Because most people just want to fit in.
Mm.
Let's give them a nice place to fit in where they can talk to us about stuff. where they can talk about the bad stuff and the good stuff, and we don't judge them. We love them and nurture them.
Yeah, and I like that because, like you said, with resilience, it comes through experience, but it all circles back, right? So it's the experience, and like you said, then it's talking about your experiences, that you're not the only one that's dealt with that. You're not the only one that's been victim of racist abuse online, or homophobic abuse online, or people saying stuff about your family online. And I think it is, again, unfortunate, but like that resilience, unfortunately, does come through experience. But I don't know if you want to like add anything to this, but I feel like having that community, whether it's boxing or bunga dancing or whatever, going to these safe places that are created by great figures like yourself, because ultimately you've got to culture that, haven't you? You've got to, when people come in, you've got to create that safe space.
Well, I always say the only two rules of my boxing club is you've got to have manners, and I don't like bullies. And if the world was like that, wouldn't be a better place. And bullying could be anything by saying nasty words about someone's weight or their height or their colour, or just say we leave that nastiness outside. But once you're in here, you're a lion.
Yeah,
And educating people on that, and then some people say something like from the Asian world or the traveller world, and I'll say something about one another, and I go, stop. If they said this to you,
yeah,
I go, it's the same. Words are powerful when they're used in the wrong way. But you've also got to listen to everyone who's listening to this. These people who are saying these things, most opinions don't matter, whether they love you,
mm.
whether they hate you. These are people who are looking at you on a screen. The real people that matter are your loved ones. And that's all I want to say about that. It's like, because everyone's going to have these things. And if you think about some of the goodest men in all time, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, John Lennon, they all got assassinated. There was some nasty bag of washing out there who shot them. So you
Mm.
can't please everyone. Bob Marley got shot. You know,
Yeah,
all these people who are going, peace, peace, peace. There's always someone who doesn't want peace. The problem with peace, if my belly's full and I'm happy, what are you going to sell me? I'm happy. Peace doesn't sell, but fear does. Your daughter will get bullied unless you buy her an iPhone. Well, I love my daughter. Your wife will leave you unless you take her to Bahamas. But I love my wife. If you're in a state of fear, you're always spending, you're always reacting. So the greater beings want us to be frightened. They want us to hate. They want us to. But what we've got to do is remember that not everyone's bad. In fact, very few people are bad. Most people are good and gravitate to the light, not to the darkness.
and if and I like that. And I just want to sort of summarize this, because I think every community group out there, every fitness club, every sports club, boxing, bungalow, whatever, the purposes are there, like to help create that resilience, to help create that community. But also, like you touched on it with AI and social media, it's better to go out into the world and speak to these people, because like I remember if you wanted to go for a job, you didn't go on chat GPT, you'd have to go shop to shop, giving your application form, you'd have to get rejection in person, acceptance in
Mm.
person, and like that resilience. And I feel like with the boxing and our classes and stuff, I feel like we can still bring that, these groups still bring that element in terms of helping with your mental health, because being out in the real world and seeing people, I think that is a massive, like having that human connection is massive. Whereas, for example, if I saw you, Kev, on Instagram, I might comment and say, I don't like your videos, or I don't like this. If I see you in person, the reaction is naturally totally different, because, like you
Yeah.
said, positivity draws that positivity.
But I feel like even schools accidentally have robbed children of resilience, because at sports day, you'd have like the Olympics, your bronze, silver, your gold.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's lovely. Everyone gets a certificate for competing.
Yeah.
Lovely. But there should be a winner and a loser. And then staying humble when you win and being
Yeah.
dignified when you lose. Congratulations. You beat me this time, but watch yourself. I'm coming for you. Or, that's great. You need that kind of, like when you ask a person out, they reject you. It's okay. It hurts. But I'll go for a job. Can I have the job? No. It's okay. It hurts. But it's learning how to deal with setbacks. And also, when you do win a bout, when you do get the girl to marry you, when you do get the ideal job, staying cool, staying humble, staying good. But these are lessons that we should learn from childhood. And we can't only blame it on education, because education really is about teaching us maths, English, and science or whatever. It's down to the parents. But unfortunately, once again, some people haven't got the parents. And how can you teach something that you were never taught?
Yeah.
So that's when we step in to fill those gaps.
Yeah, and that's right. And I just wanna end it here, but I just wanna just say, like anyone out there that is young, old, whatever you want to class yourself, if you do want to get out and participate, that's probably the best thing for your mental health, to get out there and get off the phones and social media, AI, and actually interact with people. Like Kev said, like fear is a scary thing, but when you go out into the real world and interact with different communities, different people, you realize you have more in common, and these shared experiences will help, because that helps you tackle. It won't cure. Not that I'm not going to sit here and say it'll cure anxiety and depression, but it'll go a long way in helping people. So I just want to say, any social media accounts will be in the caption below for Kev. Please make sure you check out Lions Boxing Club and the Black Country blogs. Both organisations do great work, and we'll definitely bring our kids.
Could I just say something before I go? A great lesson about that, what you said, fear. Because I think fear is a great tool. But I remember once we had a hypnotherapist come down to the boxing gym, and they're from super flyweights, super heavyweights, and we all sat there. It's a lesson that's always stuck with me, this is. And he said, "What's everyone frightened of?" I don't know. Needles, clowns, spiders, death. And he went, "Embarrassment." And everyone went quiet. And he went, "Who here would rather jump in that boxing ring and have the snot beat out of them than to go and read this piece of paper in front of the group or go and ask that girl out?" And everyone put their hands up. And he went, "How-" when I heard that, I thought, how many opportunities have I missed out on by feeling embarrassed? And once I learned that, I thought, wow, but they're getting on stage and singing Dolly Parton, so I'm making myself look like an idiot. But when I'm being vulnerable and the fear of being made to look an idiot is crippling. But then you think, well, who cares about what they think? And often I'm more important in my own head than I am in the real world. You know, so I feel like everyone's going to think I'm an idiot. If I go to the boxing gym, I can't skip or I can't do this. And most people, will either go, "It's okay, I've been there," or they don't pay attention at all. So just get over yourself sometimes and just go and do it. Go and do it. Who knows? You might not like it, but you might just blooming love it, guys. So just take a deep breath, stand up and walk forwards.
I like that. I want to end on that. Take a deep breath, stand up, and walk forward. And I think that's a perfect way to summarize what we've talked about, really. And guys, if anybody wants to go to a boxing club, please make sure you check out Lions Boxing Club. Also check out the Black Country blogs. They do amazing work. All information will be on the accounts below. And I'm sure Kev won't mind me saying this. Guys, if you have any questions about anything that we've said today, please don't hesitate to contact any one of us, and we're happy to help. And on that note, guys, have a very nice day, evening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.